Hey everybody. So here we are announcing the winners of the Fall 2020 Provost Challenge virtually. Um, so normally we would do this in a Geek Row meeting, but this year Founders Day fell on Geek Row. And so rather than have you wait a little extra time, we thought we'd do a video and get the announcement out right away. Let me start off by saying that last week's Provost Challenge presentations were awesome. The judges were impressed. I was impressed. What we loved about this was that as a class during a year of a pandemic, you faced extra challenges. And really, there were 5 teams that set out to complete the challenge, 4 of which presented. And that is impressive because you were faced with extra obstacles other students in the past haven't done. And we want to recognize and celebrate you for that because that was truly excellent. Perseverance, getting to the end, and getting it done is a big piece of what this experience is about, and recognizing that some things are just hard. And we saw that in all of your presentations. And so anyways, at the end of this, I'm going to talk about who the actual winner was. But part of our tradition as part of UAT is to describe to everybody like what we saw, what we liked, and what we would suggest for improvement from everybody's projects. And you're going to find this as you go through your stand-ups through the rest of your academic career with us, that there are these moments that happen when you finish up and you celebrate and you get peer feedback and you learn to talk about, yep, this is what we do better. So let me give you a little bit right now and share some of the things the judges saw in each of the projects. And I'm going to do that kind of in the order that you presented them to us. So with that, we're going to start with COVID Crusaders with Team Legitness, Marissa Walsh and Malachi Saint. So, there are several things about this project that we loved. We loved the fact that, you got to done, which is one of the key criteria. And I love the fact that both of you presented. You used all the design elements. We love the fact that actually used all of them. Yeah, Honor was there, Trash Pandas were there, COVID was there, and you created a card game that was playable and completable and looked like fun. And I especially like the fact that in your presentation and the video you submitted, you really kind of talked about how fun it was and you showed actual gameplay by playing it through. It's one of those things as we watched your presentation, we were entertained by it. And though we couldn't, like be in person and play around at the game, the fact that you showed us and you're able to talk about how others tested your game and the feedback you used was a big piece of what made this a really good presentation. So that's what we liked. Now, the next presentation was the sea raccoon invasion of circa 1200 BC. And this presentation, was really kind of crazy. I mean, we really liked what we saw here in a lot of ways. This was a specific style of game. This was a military kind of game with a great deal of thought and detail in it. And it had that sort of like incredible depth of experience that you see in really accurate reenactment military games. And, what was interesting about this game was obviously that during the presentation process, there was just one of you who presented. And what we thought was really kind of interesting about this was in your video, there were 2 things that stuck out. One, that you were up until 4 or 5 in the morning getting this presentation finished before, the actual presentation itself, which shows kind of perseverance and a desire to get it done. We also really liked the fact that you created a game and you thought out the rules and you had sketches and diagrams, all those kind of things, but you didn't have software behind it. And so you simulated software with a sort of stop motion innovation kind of use of a tool to show gameplay using a tool that's not designed to do it. That was incredibly clever. And everybody saw it, recognized it, and really, really appreciated this unusual kind of approach to solve the problem. Now, what we would say, for Team White Bands, is that if we had to give one suggestion, would have been rehearsing your presentation itself. While we loved the costume of the Prussian military jacket, presentation itself didn't have what we're looking for in terms of getting out in front of it and saying, all right, this is my game. This is why it's cool. These are the elements. Here's what you can see, and go. And speaking loudly and clearly and talking people through it. I know it's a small thing, but being kind of quiet on your presentation makes it hard for the audience to understand what you're doing. And so if we had to give you one piece of guidance for future ones, is just really dial in what you learn in your comm classes as far as creating a compelling presentation that gets people excited about what you want to play. We did, however, also love the rendering of a trash panda in an actual trash can, although it looked a little bit like a fox. But anyways, that's what we kind of saw in that project. So congratulations there. The next was Team Kyle, and you had a game that the judges saw was probably the most beautiful of the games. The artwork, all the way around was, both the unused ideas and the final version of it was really, really pretty. And this idea that you had the side-scrolling character of Bruce, whose eyes glowed yellow, with professional grade assets drawn out and a walk cycle, and backdrops that were kind of visually compelling and moody and interesting, was really, really good. Every piece of that was something that we all enjoyed, and we really, really enjoyed actually seeing the walk cycles play out. And so congratulations to all of those things. In terms of presentation art or professional art presented the way you'd expect to see it during a game pitch, you nailed that. Now, the one thing you didn't nail on this, obviously, was the game wasn't finished. We all wanted to see more of that. And again, it's a challenge that a lot, that is part of this Provost event, is getting it done. And one recommendation I would always say is, if you can't get to completely done, at least get to a level where if you could have gotten to that one piece further, where Ruse was walking in front of the backdrops and hopping over a fence and maybe doing some kind of an attack thing, would have moved you that much closer. And again, timing and pacing is a big piece of the challenge, and something you're going to encounter time and again in your project. So, kind of keep that in mind going forward. But it looked beautiful. Then the last project, which was the Let Me Speak to Your Manager project, that was brought in at the very last second as we were trying to close out. What the judges loved about your presentation was, as a presentation, you really did a great job of working through all the design elements, showing the character designs themselves, talking about why someone would want to play this game, why it's appealing, what some of the elements were. You had links for the different idle animations. You talked well about the music, and you gave samples of the music. And you really kind of showed most of the elements that I would expect to see in an actual presentation for a game. And again, you didn't get to done, and that was probably your biggest downfall. But the way you actually presented it looked really good. And something that I'd say both for this and the Ruse game, something that impressed both of us, or all of us who judged this, was that you were incredibly candid, both your teams, about individually, like, hey, like speaking of saying we didn't allocate time properly, or one of the things that we're sorry about or wish we'd done better is gotten ahead of the timing and the commitments and owning it up. And it was this level of, all of us were listening to your presentation saying, wow, it's like they're, are they just making a complaint to the wind about something that went wrong? But no, listening to team members personally owning, I didn't get to where I needed to be in time, was amazing. That level of honesty in front of an audience who you haven't known before, and owning it and kind of committing to improving it, was remarkable, and made everybody incredibly proud of where both these teams landed, even though you didn't hit the done. It's in tech projects, like being transparent about what you are is one of the most important things, and it's something that you can work with. You can train and work through and plan, as long as you know what's going on and people are being honest about the mistakes they make or things they would improve on better. So that was an incredible thing. So that's our feedback for the projects. As I said during the presentation itself, these are all things that you are going to work on and hone really in some of the first classes you take at UAT. And some of these intro game design classes, the intro gateway courses to all your software, and your Com 200 class, all these things are there to kind of help get you over some of these fundamentals, and you're going to get much better very quickly. But that being said, as it is with every Provost Challenge, there can be only one. And so for the fall 2020 class, the winner of the Provost Challenge is obviously COVID Crusaders, Team Legitness, Marissa Walsh, and Malachi Saint. Congratulations to both of you. It is terrific. We will have letters out to you and trophies and photos and all those kinds of things. And you will get to, make sure that Max is shown well on our social media for this entire semester. And so congratulations to both of you. We're very, very proud of you. Now, for all the rest of you, all of you did some remarkable things. And so as the judges were talking about acknowledging the fact that you got to near done or done with just some stuff to buff out under difficult circumstances, we want to acknowledge all of you individually. And so for this fall, everybody who presented last week is going to receive a gift from the UAT bookstore. Basically, if you go to the UAT bookstore and you show up with your ID, they're going to have your name on a list. And you can select any UAT logo t-shirt, short sleeve, long sleeve, any color. Show up at the register and say, hey, I competed in the Provost Challenge, and you will receive a shirt of your choice. Just as a small way of us saying we are really proud of you for what you accomplished with this semester's challenge. So enjoy it. Go wear a shirt. Have a good time. Beyond that, congratulations again to Team Legitness, and I'm looking forward to seeing and playing the COVID Crusader sometime soon in the download store, and I'm looking forward to handing you your trophies very, very soon. So be good, study, keep practicing, keep honing, and I'll see you all on campus. Thank you for participating in the 2020 Fall Provost Challenge. Cheers.